In today's video, we're going to be putting on the drive sprocket and the drive belt to the rear wheel. To get the sprocket on, I want to go ahead and get this belt on first. I'll get it over the shaft because I still have the wheel attached to it. Sprocket goes on. Get the belt on there. And get it on. Let's get it on. Now lining this up is going to be, looks like a pain in the buttocks. There we go. All right, it's that simple. Now, if you watch my other videos, you know I had to buy a new nut. So that's the nut. You're supposed to lubricate the nut on the back side with a little bit of oil or grease. Small dab of grease on there. Make sure you don't get the grease on the threads. Do not want grease on the threads, remember that. Just on the back side of the nut. Now this nut is left-handed thread, so to thread it on, you're going to turn it left. Before we put that nut on, we have to put Loctite on the thread. So a dab of Loctite on there. I think I did a little too much. Get a little bit of that off of there. And now we slide the nut on. And we turn it to the left. There we go. Do not cross thread this. You will not be happy if you cross thread this. All right. Now I got to get my torque wrench. This nut has to be tightened to 60 foot-pounds. So I got my special homemade socket here with the torque wrench. Now I got to figure out a way to keep that from spinning. How am I going to do this? I don't have that special tool to lock this in place. So, let's see if I can get a pry bar up in here. All right. So 60 foot-pounds. Once you put 60 foot-pounds on this, you need to turn this another 35 to 45 degrees. So now I use my breaker bar to give this 35-degree turn. I think that's going to be close enough. Now, got to put your lock tab on. Yep, got to turn that a little bit more. And there we go. A little bit of Loctite on these screws. All right, put this one in. Snug them up, that's all you do. And then you take your torque wrench, and these are going to be 11 Newton meters. There you go. And the other one. There you go. Okay, that's it for that. So now your drive sprocket is in place. The nut is on. The lock is in place. And the 2 screws have been torqued down. So what I'm going to do now is adjust this drive belt. So we're going to go to the back of the wheel and get this adjusted. I'm not going to explain how to do this, the adjustment on the rear wheel on this video, because I have a video out on how to do this. So I'll put a link to that video in the description below if you want to, see how to do this. And once you get it adjusted, you just tighten her up to the right spec. And don't forget to put your mufflers back on. One thing I wanted to tell you is once you tighten down the rear shaft for the wheel, go ahead and double check your belt and make sure it's good to go. Another thing, if you're not too sure on the belt, mark this right here, the adjustment lobe, so you can put it back in the same spot it was before, and you should be okay without having to check it. But anyway, like I said, the link is in the description below on how to do the adjustment on the drive belt. And a good idea is just to turn it. I'll spin the wheel just to make sure everything's lined up correctly. Bonus! We got a bonus! I was going to make another video just for this, but I think since I'm in here, might as well just get it done, right? So we're going to go ahead and remove the seal, the motor shaft seal. This is what keeps the engine oil inside the engine and the primary oil inside the primary. Here, there is a spacer. All right, we're going to take this out. Now, when you do this engine seal, you should change out the spacer. I'm going to flip the spacer around so the seal is going to ride in different spots. So it won't ride on the same spot that it was before. And it doesn't matter if you turn these around or not. Other than that, you should replace the spacer with the seal, but I'm not doing that this time. Like I said, I'm going to flip it around. I have what's called a seal puller. It's just a special tool that I used to use on working on cars. Works pretty good on these. If you don't have one of those, you can try a screwdriver in there. You can try, what some people do is they'll drill a hole in this little lip area right here, put some screws in there, and with a set of pliers, they'll pull it out. Now, everything I use is from James Gaskets, seals, gaskets. Everything I buy is from James Gaskets. I don't go to Harley for gaskets anymore, or seals or anything like that. It's just too expensive at the dealer. Before I put the seal in, I'm just going to wipe all this down. Make sure it's nice and clean in here. Make sure there's nothing in there that, that'll ruin the seal. These seals, you can put these in either way. If you have a primary with the oil in it, you're going to put it with the metal side facing into the engine. All right, just like that. If you had a dry primary, you would put it in like that. So this is how it's installed with a wet primary. I'm going to take my brass punch and we're going to try and get that bad boy in there. I'm going to go a little bit at a time so it doesn't go in crooked. Now be careful. This is all aluminum. You don't want to mess it up too much. As you can see, I put some marks in there, but that's okay. That doesn't affect the seal in any way. There is one thing I forgot to do, and that's to put grease on the lip of the seal. So I'll just go ahead and do it now. Clean up your spacer, or bearing, or whatever you want to call this thing. And like I said, I'm going to put it in the opposite way so it doesn't ride on these two grooves that the other seal made. I just want to show you the grooves. So that's the original groove and the original groove. And this is where the seal rides on now. So yeah, you can flip this and use it one more time. I don't know if you see what my shirt says, but it says, I used to be a people person, but people ruined it. I love this shirt. All right, so in this video, we put on the drive sprocket, nut, how to put the lock ring on. We adjusted the drive belt, and we went ahead and removed and replaced the motor shaft seal. I'm waiting on a couple of things, and then we'll be ready to finish this job up. So in the meantime, check out the videos. I'll have links in the description below. Probably take you like half an hour to watch all the videos of all the work I've done up to this point. Appreciate you being here. I appreciate the subscribers. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe, like, and share the videos. Help us to grow. I wish you all safe riding, and God bless. Tekken Moto out.